Have you ever waited for the perfect moment to start something important? You say, "I'll do it when I feel inspired." But that inspiration never comes. If you've ever been full of ideas but short on action, this story will open your eyes. In a quiet little town lived a young painter named Rayan. He dreamed of creating a masterpiece that the world would remember forever. He often said, "One day I'll paint a picture so beautiful that it will make people cry." Everyone admired his confidence. But there was one problem. Rayan never started. Rayan had everything an artist could wish for: smooth brushes, the brightest paints, a tall wooden easel, and a big white canvas that looked like a fresh beginning waiting to happen. Every morning, he told himself he'd begin today. He would stretch his arms, look at his paints, and say, "Today is the day." But when the sun rose and the light entered his studio, he'd frown and mumble, "I'm not in the mood today. Maybe tomorrow." And that "maybe tomorrow" became his habit, and that habit slowly became his identity. Days passed. Weeks passed. His friends finished their work, their paintings, their murals. They earned coins. They built portfolios. They delivered real results. But Rayan kept waiting. The walls of his studio were filled with random sketches, practice doodles, color tests, but the canvas that mattered most stayed perfectly white, like untouched snow. You see, his studio was full of color, but his destiny remained empty. While others painted walls of schools, portraits of families, and signs for local shops to earn a living, Rayan sat near the window staring at the sky. He imagined his success, not the work. He imagined applause, not the effort. He pictured exhibitions, galleries, and crowds, but never the sweat behind such achievement. Imagination without action is like a brush without paint. It holds potential, but produces nothing. His parents gently tried to guide him. "Rayan," his mother would say, "start with one stroke. Just one." His father would add, "You don't need to paint a masterpiece on day one. Just begin." Rayan would always smile politely and answer with the same reply, "Soon." But soon never came. His parents grew older, watching their son grow older with nothing but a pile of unfinished attempts around him. One evening, his old art teacher visited. Slowly, he walked into the studio. He noticed the same canvas, the same exact blank canvas that he saw months ago. The teacher stared at it and smiled sadly. "Rayan," he said softly, "why is your masterpiece still empty?" Rayan shrugged like a child making excuses. "I'm waiting for inspiration," he said proudly, as if that was a noble reason. The teacher reached into his pocket and took out 2 small jars. He placed them on Rayan's desk. "These," he said, "are not just paints. The blue jar is inspiration paint. It only works when you use it. The gray jar is procrastination paint. It spreads by itself and covers everything in dullness. Which one will you open?" Then he left. No lecture, no scolding, just the jars, just the choice. Rayan placed the 2 jars on his desk. He stared at them every morning. "Of course," he thought, "I'll open the blue one tomorrow." But days turned into weeks again. Dust started gathering on the jars. He didn't even touch them. His brushes became dry and stiff. The canvas remained silent. Out of boredom one afternoon, he finally opened both jars. The blue one dried quickly, becoming useless because he didn't use it immediately. But the gray one, it spilled on its own, slowly, silently, across his table, over his brushes, across the edge of the canvas. He didn't stop it. He didn't care to wipe it. The gray spread every day, And every day Rayan said, "It's fine, I'll clean it later." Procrastination became his roommate. One morning, he walked into the studio and his heart dropped. The entire place was coated in that gray dullness. The walls, the brushes, the floor. The canvas that once waited like a dream now looked like a funeral. His creativity had faded the same way his colors faded, slowly, quietly, invisibly. The teacher returned and saw the mess. He didn't get angry. He didn't shout. He didn't say, "I told you so." Instead, he looked at the gray room and whispered, "Rayan, this is your mind. This is what happens inside you every time you delay. Inspiration doesn't visit those who wait, it visits those who work. Procrastination grows on its own, but action must be chosen." Those words hit Rayan like lightning. He realized that time was not taking anything from him. He was giving time away voluntarily. He realized his masterpiece had been stolen not by fate, not by lack of talent, not by lack of opportunity, but by his own laziness. Tears filled his eyes. His knees grew weak. He collapsed to the floor and whispered, "I've wasted so much time." That night, he couldn't sleep. He stared at the clock ticking, and every tick felt like a second of his life slipping away. He remembered all the mornings he said, "Tomorrow." All the afternoons he said, "Later." All the nights he said, "Someday." He realized that someday is just a fancy name for never. So, before sunrise, he stood up. He walked into his studio. It was still gray, but this time he didn't run away from it. He rolled up his sleeves. He cleaned the brushes. He washed the floor. He scrubbed the tables. His hands were stained. His clothes became messy. But for the first time, he felt alive. He didn't wait for inspiration. He worked. He mixed his own colors. He tested new shades. He painted every day, even when he was tired, even when the results looked bad, even when the world was asleep. And the more he painted, the more inspiration started visiting him. Not before he started, but after he started. And slowly, the blank canvas began to transform. The gray was gone. The blue returned. His heart felt light, not because inspiration magically arrived, but because he finally learned that inspiration was something he could generate, not something he was supposed to wait for. Months later, Rayan's painting hung in the town's art hall. People stood silently in front of it, moved by its beauty. Some cried, some smiled, some stared without speaking. Everyone felt something, because the painting held emotion, not just color. They asked, "How did you paint this?" Rayan didn't talk about talent. He didn't talk about luck. He didn't talk about a magical spark. He simply smiled and said, "By painting, even when I didn't feel inspired." And dear listener, this story is not about painting. It's about your life, about your goals, about your dreams, about your plans, about all the things inside you that you keep promising you'll start someday. We all hold two paints inside us, one of action, one of delay. Procrastination grows by itself, like the gray paint. Action requires effort, like the blue paint. Inspiration is not something you wait for, it's something you unlock. By moving your hands, by taking that first step, by beginning before you feel ready. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Make this moment perfect. Because tomorrow never paints your dreams. Start today.